She came to the date straight from work, still smelling of detergent and dreams. The city lights reflected off the cafe window, catching the faint shimmer of soap still clinging to her hands. Mia sat quietly at the corner table, brushing her rough palms together, hoping they didn't look too worn. She'd just finished a 10-hour shift at the laundromat, folding other people's clean clothes while her own dreams remained crumpled somewhere in the back of her mind. But tonight was different. She wasn't just Mia the laundry girl. She was a woman taking a chance on love. Across town, Daniel adjusted his shirt in the mirror of his car. He was nervous, though he wouldn't admit it. His friends had told him online dating was pointless, but something about Mia's messages had felt different, real, grounded. She didn't talk about luxury vacations or perfect lives. She talked about small things, how fresh linen reminded her of new beginnings, how the smell of detergent made her feel safe. Her words carried a simplicity that felt like honesty in a world full of filters. When Daniel walked into the cafe, he spotted her instantly. Not because she stood out, but because she didn't. Her hair was still damp from steam, her sleeves rolled up from work, and there was a tiredness in her eyes that only people who fight every day to survive carry. But there was something else too, something raw and beautiful. A quiet strength. "You must be Daniel," she said with a shy smile, her voice soft but sincere. "I am," he said, sitting down. "And you must be the girl who says laundry is the soul of the city." She laughed, an unpolished, real laugh. "I guess that's me." For a few minutes, silence filled the space between them. She fiddled with her bracelet, embarrassed. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't have time to go home and change. I just didn't want to cancel. I've been looking forward to this all week." Daniel looked at her, really looked at her. Her hands were rough, her nails chipped, her face glowed with traces of exhaustion, but her eyes carried galaxies of hope. "You came straight from work?" he asked. "Yeah," she said, lowering her gaze. "The laundromat closes late. I didn't want to be late for our first date. But I guess I still smell like detergent." She laughed nervously, but there was a flicker of sadness in her eyes. Daniel leaned forward, smiling. "That's the smell of someone who works hard for her dreams." "I like it." She blinked, surprised. No one had ever said that before. People usually looked at her and saw someone ordinary, someone tired, replaceable. But tonight, for the first time in a long time, she felt seen. As the night went on, they talked about life, about struggles, about dreams left behind in the noise of responsibility. Mia shared how she once wanted to study interior design, but after her mother fell sick, she had to drop out and work full-time. Daniel shared how he had spent years chasing money, only to realize he'd lost touch with what truly mattered. Hours passed like minutes. The cafe lights dimmed, and the world outside grew quieter. Mia told him how she often stayed late at work just to listen to the hum of the washing machines. "It's like they're talking," she said softly. "Each spin, each rinse, it's like they're saying, life gets dirty sometimes, but you can always start again clean." Daniel couldn't help but smile. "That's beautiful," he said. "You should be a writer." She shook her head. "Writers create worlds. I just clean up after them." But he saw more in her. He saw the poetry she didn't know she carried, the beauty in her ordinary life. So, he asked if she wanted to walk outside for a bit. They stepped into the cool night air. The streets glowed with neon signs, puddles reflecting city dreams. As they walked, she told him about her little apartment, a single room with peeling paint but a window that showed the sunrise. She told him how she'd saved every coin to buy her mother a new blanket for winter. There was no pretense in her words, no need to impress. Just truth. Daniel listened quietly, humbled. He'd met women with designer bags and practiced smiles, but none of them had ever made him feel the way she did, with her tired hands and detergent scent. When they reached her bus stop, she turned to him. "Thank you," she said, "for not making me feel small." He looked at her for a moment before speaking. "Mia, you make the world a little cleaner, a little kinder." "That's not small." She smiled, and something inside her softened. She realized this wasn't just a date, it was a moment that would remind her she was more than her job, more than her exhaustion. She was still allowed to dream. A week later, Daniel visited the laundromat. He found her folding clothes, her hair tied up, her face glowing with surprise when she saw him. "What are you doing here?" she asked. He held up a small paper bag. "Coffee. Thought maybe the girl who keeps the city clean could use a warm cup." She laughed, her eyes glistening. "You didn't have to. I wanted to," he said. "Maybe next time, you'll let me help you fold dreams instead of laundry." And she did. Over time, their worlds blended, the tired laundromat girl and the man who rediscovered simplicity. They built something beautiful, not out of wealth or luxury, but out of shared warmth and small kindnesses. Years later, when Mia finally opened her own little laundry business, she named it Detergent and Dreams. And right above the counter, she hung a photo of her and Daniel from that very first night, the night she came to the date still smelling of detergent and dreams. Because sometimes love doesn't wait for you to be perfect. It finds you exactly where you are, tired, messy, and human, and reminds you that you're enough. That's what Daniel did for Mia. And that's what she did for him. In the scent of soap and the hum of washing machines, they both found what they didn't know they'd been searching for all along: hope.